Hello, lovely children. So I'm sorry I can't be there today, but I have some super fun things we're going to do today, okay? So as you can see on the board, your instructions are very clear. You are to complete these warm-up problems in your notebook while watching this video. So I'm doing these problems with you as if I were there. I feel like we needed a little bit more review of these trig problems before we take our quiz, so I'm pushing the quiz to Friday. No, just kidding. Monday? Yes. So take good notes so you can use these on the quiz. After this, you're going to watch the second video while filling out the 5-7 worksheet, and then you're going to complete that worksheet, and that is going to be due on Monday, and you have Pearson homework. Okay, so read the instructions on the board. Let's get started. All right, so go ahead and draw this triangle here. Remember our steps, okay? I'm not going to rewrite the steps out because they're in your notes from last class. And if you didn't get those, go to Google Classroom and get them. So our first step is to label the triangle based on the reference angle. So number 1, the reference angle is 51. So I'm going to label the triangle opposite, which is across from the angle here. The adjacent is the other leg, and the hypotenuse is always the longest one and also the one across from the 90-degree angle. That's step 1, labeling the triangle. Step 2, you want to determine what trig ratio to use based on your SOHCAHTOA. All right, so I'm going to draw it out, write out your SOHCAHTOA. Some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid. Great. So we have to ask ourselves 2 questions, and this is very important. You need to ask yourself, what side am I given? The only side I'm given here is the hypotenuse, 16. Secondly, you need to ask yourself, what side am I trying to find? That's x, which is the adjacent. Okay, so which one uses adjacent and hypotenuse looking at your SOHCAHTOA? So that's adjacent and hypotenuse for the caught another hippie. Okay, so now that we know it's going to be cosine, the last step is to write the equation out. Okay, so you're going to write cosine, parentheses, 51 equals adjacent, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 16. Okay, so you see how we got that from our diagram, from the picture, where x is the adjacent and 16 is the hypotenuse. Okay, next, after we do that, is we need to multiply both sides by the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 16. I'm going to multiply this by 16. That'll cancel it out on the right. And then on the left you have 16 times cosine of 51 equals x. So now all that's left is to simply type this exactly as it appears in your calculator. Okay, and then don't forget, when you're using the calculator and you're doing trigonometry, you must always check to make sure your calculator is in degree mode. Okay, I'm going to put a little note here, make sure you are in degree mode. Okay, which is the mode button next to the blue second button. All right, once you have that, you're going to type 16 times cosine of 51, enter, and so my answer for x is 10 point, let's round to the nearest 10th place, because it looks like, well, that was rude, stupid animals. 10.069, which is going to round to 10.1. Okay. So that's a very simple equation, or simple example of what you're going to have to do. Okay? All right. Next one. Shh! Stop barking. Stop it. I'm busy. All right. Anyway, after that rude interruption, let's do number 2. Okay. And if you guys want to pause the video to try it out on your own before I give away the answer, you're welcome to do that. Okay. Just don't take too long, because remember, you do have a classwork activity to get through, that worksheet. All right, so step 1, label the triangle. This is 33, so that's my reference angle. That means the opposite is going to be 9. Okay, the adjacent is the other leg, and the hypotenuse is over here. So we need to ask ourselves, what side am I given? And that's going to be 9. And then, what side am I trying to find, which is adjacent? All right, now that I have circled both of those, I'm going to go back to my SOHCAHTOA. Okay, and looks like I'm going to be doing O and A, which is tangent. Okay. Opposite over adjacent. So we're going to set up the equation with tangent now, not cosine, right? Tangent of 33 equals 9 over x. Be very careful there. You see what we did? You have to do the opposite over the adjacent, because that's how the fraction is set up. Okay, so this is different, and I don't think we got to this example last class. So it's really important that you're able to see what's going to happen here. So the difference is, look at where x is. Okay, x is in the denominator. When x is in the denominator, you can no longer simply multiply by the number. Okay, now I'm still going to have to multiply, but it's going to look a little different. I'm going to multiply both sides by x, okay, here and here. That will cancel this out, and I have x times tangent of 33 equals 9, but I still need to get x by itself, and so now I have to divide by tangent of 33. 9 divided by tangent of 33. So what you're going to type in your calculator is 9 divided by tangent 33. Seems kind of weird. Okay, but that's what you're doing. You're typing this right here in your calculator. Make sure you're in degree mode. 9 divided by tangent of 33 is going to be 13.85878 blah 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 blah. So we're going to round that to the nearest tenth, which is approximately 13.9. Okay? All right. So keep this in mind. This is really important. When x is in the denominator, you need to divide. When x is in the denominator, you must divide. As opposed to the previous example, look at where x was. X was in the numerator, and we multiplied. So those are little tricks to help you, trying to help you as much as I can, okay? Got to help yourself, though. Got to do the practice on the homework. When x is in the numerator, you multiply. When x is in the denominator, you divide, okay? Just like I have right here. This is what your answer is going to be. Okay. Guys, both of those questions are solving for sides, okay? This one I was solving for a side here. This one I was solving for a side here. Number 3, draw this. What am I solving for? That's right, an angle, not a side. So if I solve for an angle, that means I have to do inverse trigonometry, which is the, in my opinion, easier one, okay? And remember, that's the -1, sine -1, cosine -1, tangent of -1. And how do we get that? You need to, on your calculator, type second, little button on the top left. Second sine, second cosine, and second tangent is how you get those. Okay? Process is still the same. So you start with your reference angle, which now is theta. Then you're going to label opposite. That's 16 here. In this case, the adjacent is 20. And my hypotenuse is right here. The ones that I circle are going to be the ones with both of the numbers, 16 and 20. Miko! Oh, he is so annoying. All right, now we're going to write out our SOHCAHTOA. So which one are we using here? If we're doing O and A is tangent again. Okay, but now I have to use inverse. So on your calculator, you're going to type second tan. Got it? It should look like this, tan to the -1. In the parentheses, you put the opposite, which is 16, over the adjacent, which is 20. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. Typey, typey, typey. And you get theta is 38.6598, blah, blah, blah. Let's round that to the nearest degree. Ooh. Okay, instead of the nearest tenth, rounded to the nearest degree would be 39 degrees for theta. Okay, so you have two different types. Again, you're either solving for the side length. Okay, that's my example for number 1 and number 2. Or you're solving for an angle. Okay, that was my example for number 3. So you need to make sure when you're doing your homework and on the quiz next class that you have to figure out, am I solving for a side or an angle? And don't forget with the sides, if the x is in the numerator, you multiply. If the x is in the denominator, you divide. Okay? All right. So now you're going to work on the worksheet. So go to the next video that is posted in Google Classroom. Watch that and fill in the blanks, and then finish the rest of that assignment. Cool? Okay. Have fun.